Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. How are you everyone? Welcome back grade 4. Okay, today we're gonna revise what we studied before in chapter 9. So let me remind you with the first lesson in chapter 9, 9.1. So find it and print it because we're gonna need it today and tomorrow and after tomorrow for revising chapter 9 and chapter 10. Okay? So you have to print it, or if you can't print it, you can watch the video, the recorded video on YouTube or on Classera. I will upload it after the school day, inshallah. Okay, now let's start. As I said before, today we're gonna revise chapter 9. And today, the first lesson, lesson 9.1, and it's about relate tenths and decimals. Okay, so as we all know, we need to locate any point on the number line at the following. We have to locate this point, okay? We all know that each dash represents a fraction and a decimal on the number line. So as you see here, this point represents 0/10 and 0.0, okay? And this point represents 1/10 and 0.1. And this point represents 2/10 and 0.2, and so on, okay? To get to this point, so let's ask ourselves, what is the location of this point on the number line? Okay, we have here, this point is 3/10, and this point is 4/10, 5/10, 6/10, 7/10. So our point here is 8/10. So that's our point, 8/10. Okay, how can we write it into decimal form? So it will be 0.8 because we don't have enough, or we don't have any whole number beside it. So if you want to write 8/10 as decimal, first of all, you have to check the whole number. There is no whole number here, so I'm gonna put it as 0. And then put the decimal point, and we have 1 digit up here, and we have 10 down here. So 10 with 1 0, so all we have to do put 8. So it will be 0.8. That the fraction form, and that the decimal form, and that the fraction form. Okay, so let's move to our examples here. Okay, I need someone to help. Okay, if you want to answer, raise your hand, please. Write the fraction or mixed number and the decimal shown by the model. Okay, Muhammad al-Baqshi.
Yes.
Okay, our point is here. So we need to determine its fraction form and its decimal form. Can you tell me its fraction form, the fraction form at this point?
2/10.
Yeah, great, 2/10. Okay, can you tell me what is the
And the,
decimal form?
and the decimal is 0.2.
Yeah, great. So we can write it as 2/10 as a fraction form, or 0.2 as decimal form. Thank you so much, Muhammad al-Baqshi. Great job, man. Okay, what about Muhammad Hussein al-Dajani?
Hi.
Hi, Muhammad. So we need to determine the location of this point.
Well, this point describes 6/10, and then the side of it 2.
Yeah, so 2 as a whole number and 6/10. Great. And how can we write it in decimal form?
It's 2.6.
2.6. Excellent. So our answer here is 2 and 2/10 as a fraction form, and as a decimal form 2.6. Okay, all of you write this and then we're gonna move to the next
But
page.
I don't
Hurry up,
have
please.
the paper. I don't have the paper, so I'll screenshot it.
Yeah, you can take a screenshot and write it later after you print it, or you can watch it later on YouTube or on Classera. You'll find it after the school day, inshallah. Faisal Hamoud, what are you doing? Keep this away, please, and stay focused. Thank you. Guys, if you don't have the paper or if you don't have the sheet, the worksheet, you can watch it later on YouTube or on Classera. This video will be recorded on YouTube, so you can watch it on my channel, okay? Okay, everyone, let's move to the next page. Now, in this page, we're gonna see lesson 9.2, relate hundreds and decimals. Okay, as you see here, we have some model. Okay, let me see here. Write the fraction or mixed number and the decimal shown by the model. Okay, let me show you how to write the decimal and the fraction using this model. And then I will ask you, okay, let me count the completed columns here, the completed shaded columns. So we have here, how many completed shaded column here? So I see that we have 5 completed columns are shaded. Okay, what about the last column here? It's uncompleted shaded column. So we have only three small squares, so it will be 53. Okay, so 53 what? 53 over what? 53 over the total number of the small squares in the big square. So the total number of the small square is 100. So it will be 53 over 100. Okay, now we're gonna write it with decimal form. So it will be equal, just if you have here decimal, we don't have any whole number, so we're gonna put 0 and decimal point. So we have 53, just write 53 here. So it will be 0.53. Okay, now I'll ask someone to help with the next example. Okay, I read it for you. Write the fraction or mixed number and the decimal shown by the model. Okay, I think Fahd can help.
Yes,
Okay, Fahd, let me ask you, how many completed columns are there?
and there is two.
2 completed columns, excellent. Okay, and the last column, the uncompleted column, how many small squares are shaded here?
4.
4, great. So how can we write it as a fraction?
2, the whole number, and 4
No,
up,
no, no. It's 24 over the total number of squares,
100.
100. So that's our answer. Or we can write it as decimal. How can we write it as decimal, man?
2,
First of all, do we have any whole number here?
No.
So we're gonna put 0, right? 0 point.
Yes.
Yes.
0.24.
Yeah, 0.24. That's it. That's the answer. Thank you so much, Fahd. Okay, what about Rakan Alaa? Rakan Alaa, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, Rakan, the next one. How many completed columns are there?
9.
9. Great. So we're gonna write here 9. Okay, and then how many small squares in this uncompleted column?
6.
6. So it will be 96. Okay, how can we write it as a fraction?
0.96.
No, I'm asking about as a fraction, not a decimal. Write it as a
96
fraction
over
first.
96 over 100.
Yeah. Now we're gonna write it as decimal.
Okay.
How can we write it as decimal?
0.96.
0.96. Great. Thank you so much, man. Okay, write this guide and then we're gonna move to the next page. Now in this lesson 9.3, let's remember together how to write an equivalent, fractions, and decimals. Okay. So who can help with the first one? Write the number as hundreds in fraction form and decimal form. Okay, Ahmed Ayman, are you there?
Yes.
Okay, so let me rewrite it for you. 9 over 100, or 9 over 10, sorry. Okay, how can we write it as 100? So you may need to use 100 in the denominator, okay? So how can we write it as a fraction with 100 in the denominator? So 100, how can we get 100 from 10?
We
By
multiply
multiplying it by what?
by 10.
Yeah, great. So we're gonna multiply it by 10. Now we're gonna multiply this by 10 because as we learned before, as you did the down, you have to do the same up, right? So
Yes.
9 multiplied by 10 equals what?
90.
90. So that's the
It is
fraction
90
form. 90
over
over 100. Okay, now we need to write it in decimal form. So 90 over 100, how can we write it in decimal?
0.9 or
T, 90, okay?
yes.
Because it's
Yes.
hundredth, okay?
Yes.
Okay, thank you so much, Ahmed. You're genius. Okay, what about Hamad Khalid?
Yes, teacher.
The next one, 0.6. We need to write it in as hundredth. So how can we write it as a fraction, tenth? So 0.6, how can we write it as a fraction to make it easier?
Yeah, all we need to do is put 0 on the 6. So it can be 0.
So it will be 6 over 10, right? So that's the fraction form.
Yeah, and then we multiply then by 10.
Yeah, because we need 100 at the denominator, right?
Yes.
So it will be multiplied by 10.
So we multiply the 10 and
Yeah.
multiply the 6 by 10.
So
So
6
we get
multiplied by 10 equals what, man?
60, and then multiply by 10 equals 100. So this is how
Yeah,
we get
great.
100.
So in the fraction form, it will be 60 over 100. Okay, can you
But
tell
in
me what is the decimal form here?
It will be 0.60, of course.
0.60. Excellent. Okay, guys, think about the next one. I'll be back in a minute. Hurry up. Okay, let's see. I think Faisal Hamoud can help with number 3. Faisal Hamoud, are you there?
Yes. Yes, I'm here.
Okay, so 4 over 10, let me rewrite it here, 4 over 10. We need to write it as 100, so you have to use 100 as a denominator, okay?
Yes.
So
I know
how
that.
can we get 100 from 10?
You multiplied by 10, and since he need to do the same up and down, we're gonna multiply 4 by 10, so it's gonna be 40 over 100.
Yeah, it will be 40 over 100.
It's
So that's the fraction form.
Teacher, it's easy. I'm already doing the next page.
Yeah, great. So 4 over 10, 40 over 10, how can we write it in decimal?
0, and then a decimal point, and then 40.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much. You are perfect.
Welcome.
Okay, the next one. I think Ali Nabil Misri can help here. Okay,
Yeah.
now let me read it for you. Write the number as tenth in fraction form and decimal form. Now we need to write the numbers in tenth. How can we write it in tenth place? So we have the first one, 70 over 100. Let me rewrite it for you, 70 over 100. And we want to write it as 10, so you have to use 10 in the denominators. Okay, now how can we get 10 from 100?
We will divide by 10.
You are great. So we're gonna divide
Up
both
and
of them by 10. Yeah.
Yeah. And the 70 will be 7.
Yes. So it will be 7 over 10.
Over 10.
Yeah.
And the decimal 0.7.
And the decimal 0.7. Okay. Thank you
Easy.
so much, my king. You're the king of math.
Welcome.
Okay, the next one, my lord.
Yes.
Okay, so 80 over 100, how can we get in tenth? How can we write it as tenth? Okay, 80 over 100, we need to write as 10 here.
We're gonna divide up and down by 10.
Yeah, we're going to divide up and down by 10 now. Okay, so what is the answer will be here? 80 divided by 10.
8 over 10.
So it will be 88 over 10. So that's the fraction form. Now, how can we write it in decimal form?
0, and then the decimal point, and then 8.
Okay, great. Thank you so much, man. Okay, what about Yazan?
Yes.
Okay, Yazan, the next one, number 6.
Number 6?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, let me write it for you, but you have to write it with fraction form because it will be a little bit easier, okay? So it will be 50 over 100, right?
Yes.
And we need to write it as tenth. So what we're gonna do?
So we divide it by 10.
So we're gonna divide it by 10. So 50 divided by 10 equals what?
5.
5. So that's our answer in the fraction form. So it will be 5 over
In the decimal form, it's gonna be 0.5.
Yeah, great. Thank you so much, man.